Call this meeting to order. City of Somerton regular council meeting, Tuesday, October 1st, 2019, 7 p.m. Good evening, everybody. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? We have Guerra del Sol, students of the month, so you can come forward. You're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're here.
You guys just on the front. Just on the front.
Just like you're doing in the classroom. Raise the flag, please. There we go.
We're going to start. One, two, three.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have pencils, guys, and also some certificates. Congratulations on being hardworking students.
Alicia. I'm sorry if I put your last name. Andres. I have Alison Gonzalez. Alison, no?
Elena Espinosa.
Dimle Ayala. Ángel Martínez. Kelila Díaz.
Isaac Rodríguez.
Aaron Navarro.
And Sebastián Aceves Galicia. Thank you.
Let's get closer. To your right, to your right.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya.
Present.
Vice Mayor Marta Garcia. Present. Councilman Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Councilman Carlos Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Luis Galindo.
Present.
Councilman Jesus Roldán.
Present.
And Councilman Juan Castillo.
Present remotely.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
I don't have any forms called to the public, but is there anybody from the public wishing to address council at this time? No, you evaded.
I won't. Good afternoon, council members. Candace Orduno Kraus. I am the current city prosecutor for the city of Somerton. I'm here again to discuss the resolution that was passed on September 11th, which is to take effect October 14th. As we know that I brought up at the last meeting, there was an open meeting law issue with regard to the posting of the agenda on the 17th, and the ratification would be needed for the resolution to proceed, and the city conceded. I strongly suggest that the city just take a look at this matter closely, consult legal counsel, and ensure that you're doing the process of ratification as followed under 38-43105. Specifically, question number 3 under that specific code states that all deliberations, consultations, and decisions by members of the public body are supposed to be presented. You have attached to your agendas today minutes from September 3rd through September 11th. I would note that September 17th was not included. There are no minutes posted on your website. There's also a note in there, a list of minutes in the packet from September 7th, which was, I believe, the summer retreat. I would note for the city council that that summer retreat was never posted, and it appears that you had 2 occasions of meeting at that retreat. One the night before at Wild River, and one the day of the 7th. I think these are requiring of the minutes per statutory law. The other questions that I have are, this decision was brought up on September 3rd in a work session, but this did not just appear overnight. I think the city is obligated to produce additional deliberations as to how this issue came up as required by the statute. I would surmise that some of this may have come up on August 6th at your regular session. I would also assume that there were other deliberations, as noted in the work session, that the city consulted with the Arizona League of Cities and Towns, and those deliberations and consultations are not attached to your ratification. Additionally, I think the council would need to disclose any consultation and recommendations made by your conflict counsel. That would be under your city code of 3-5-99 and 3-5-186. The city is required to inform the public as to people they have hired to do consultations with this regard. None of this is in the agenda packet. None of this is disclosed in the ratification. Per case law and the Arizona Attorney General's office, it appears there's judicial determination that needs to be made to trigger ratification. I would question whether a judicial determination has been made. Additionally, today the city is putting forth a contract for the city to consider the full-time city attorney, prosecutor, and chief personnel officer, again without going to bid or following any other employment procedures. The contract is attached to your agenda item, but it does not delineate the division of powers and duties, or whether some of the duties, such as payroll, are going to be either farmed out or reassigned to other employees. The city also plans to go into executive session again today to discuss employment, assignment, promotion, or salary. I don't believe the city is doing this quite properly. It seems a little backwards when you have a contract attached that delineates everything that your new position is going to have, but then you're going into executive session to discuss this further. Your contract, I'm afraid, is not representative of what the final contract should be. And again, under ARS 38-431- or 431.03A1, I would request the executive session to be held in public. I believe there are other problems that are evident than are evident here today, and I hope the council can take these questions into consideration and with all seriousness. There are a number of questions that I raised at the last council meeting that remain unanswered, and I don't understand the city's haste in making such decisions. I hope the city does not ratify today's agenda item because specifically, I don't think it follows under the statutory provisions of the law. And I hope the city takes careful consideration and takes appropriate legal consultation with this. It's your fiduciary duty to investigate this. And this duty is not only owed to your constituents, but it's also to your employees alike. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to address council? Okay, moving on to consent agenda. Item number 1, minutes for work session of September 3rd, 2019. Item number 2, minutes from regular council meeting September 3, 2019. Minutes from the 2019 summer retreat. Item number 4, minutes from special meeting of September 11th, 2019. Item number 5, request to approve renewal of the contract with the Humane Society of Humboldt Canine Services. Anybody from council wishing to remove an item from consent agenda for discussion? Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Villalpando. Second by Councilman Galindo. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing, is there a motion to go into public hearing? Motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Rodan. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. What I do have before you tonight for consideration and possible approval is a liquor license application from the Express Market. This is a store located on the 111 East Joshua Street. Mayor, this Express Market store has been doing business in our city limits for long, and the reason I am requesting approval is because Mr. Sadiq, the new owner, submitted an application under his name to the state of Arizona. Mayor, Council, I would like to note that as required by the state of Arizona, the liquor license and control, I posted a notice for 20 days to sell alcohol on the main entrance on the building of this store. I didn't receive any comments either in favor or against the proposal. So the 20 days passed. I'm before you requesting approval before I send this information to the state for final approval from them to the applicant. If there is no question, Mayor, I would like to request a motion.
Any questions? Comments? Is there a motion to approve liquor license? So moved. Motion by Councilman Gonzalez. Second by Vice Mayor Garcia. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
A motion to exit public hearing. Motion by Councilman Villalpando and second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. There's no items in old business, so moving on to new business. Swearing in of Chief of Police Araceli Juarez.
Good evening, all. This evening, I've been asked to administer the oath of affirmation to our recently appointed police chief, Araceli Juarez. I always remind individuals that it's a requirement. It seems like it's ceremonial, but actually ARS 38231G requires that an official working for this municipalities, state, or any form of government in Arizona take an oath of affirmation. So at this time, without any further ado, I'll ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
I, Araceli Juarez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of
of the office of
City of Somerton Police Chief
City of Somerton Police Chief
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And congratulations. We welcome you aboard the City of Somerton, now as our Chief of Police. For those of you who might not know, Chief Juarez has been with the City of Somerton Police Department for many years, maybe 20 years or more, I'm not sure. But now she's been appointed by the City Council to lead our police department. And I really honestly believe that they could not have made a better choice than Chief Juarez. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations again. Item number 2, consideration and possible approval of a proclamation establishing October 2019 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Somerton.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an annual international health campaign occurring every October to increase awareness of the disease and to raise funds for research into its cause, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. The recommended action is to approve the proclamation.
Is there a motion? Second by Vice Mayor Garcia, second by Councilmember Gondat. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Whereas, while considerable progress has been made in the fight against breast cancer, it remains the most commonly diagnosed cancer and the second leading cause of death among women in the United States. And whereas each year it is estimated that more than 220,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer and more than 40,000 will die as a result of the disease. And whereas October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to increase awareness about the disease. And whereas during this month, we reaffirm our commitment to support breast cancer research and to educate all citizens about its risk, detection, and treatment. And whereas as we display pink ribbons or pink clothing to raise awareness, we also support those courageously fighting breast cancer and honor the lives lost to the disease. And whereas this October we recognize breast cancer survivors, those battling the disease, their families and friends who are tireless source of love and encouragement, and applaud the efforts of our medical professionals and researchers working to find a cure for this deadly disease. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to unite all citizens in our community to prevent breast cancer deaths through increased education and regular screening. Now therefore, I, Gerardo Naya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, Arizona, hereby proclaim October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we have two representatives from local agencies that deal with health here in the community. We have Lucy Murrieta, Community Relations Outreach and Eligibility Director for Sunset Community Center. I'm going to present the proclamation. And Marisol Penuelas, Quality Assurance Manager for Regional Center of Border Health. And also the water tower is gonna be lit, light, what's the word? Lit, great. It is. Item number 3, discussion and possible approval of sponsorship or support for Chicanos por la Causa Farm to School Taste Teach Connect event.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, tonight we're joined by Josie Mercado Chavez, Nutrition Coordinator for Chicanos por la Causa. She'll present to council about an upcoming event to benefit the city of Somerton.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. Sorry. My name is Josie Mercado Chavez. I am the Nutrition Coordinator for Chicanos por la Causa at the West Region. And tonight, I would like to present to you Farm to School 2019. We started Farm to School in 2017, actually with the premise that we want to lower childhood obesity. And this is our 3rd year. And this year, we are excited to expand the event with a special benefit concert featuring Los Chicos del 512. It's a musical band that features with the lead singer of Evelyn Molina. This lead singer and also the 6 members of the band are all teachers of Somerton and San Luis. They are all born and raised in San Luis and Somerton as well. Miss Molina is actually one of our former students at our Somerton Center, Head Start. She was a graduate, I'm not sure how long ago, but I would presume that it's a lot younger. She's a lot younger than me. So we would like to welcome everybody, and we would like to invite everybody to this concert. We would like this concert is going to be on October 25th of 2019, and I would like to seek the council on sponsorship. That's why I am here today. But I would like to tell you all about what Farm to School is and why we did adopted this initiative. This local band, as I would like to let everybody know, they're going international. So I think they're going to Okinawa, Japan sometime this year. And so we would like you to see them, since this is a local band going international. So it would be a good opportunity for them to see them at the Farm to School concert. It's not only a benefit show, it's also featuring one of our very own band. Why is Farm to School? Farm to School, we adopted this because we know that kids win, farmers win, communities win. Why? Kids, because we provide, Chicanos por la Causa is a preschool Head Start program. And when the kids win, because of the Farm to School, we win. The farmers wins and the communities win. Everybody probably know what Chicanos por la Causa serves, and those are the migrant and seasonal workers. Kids win because we provide them the services, education, being healthy, and being school ready. The farmers win because for Farm to School, we are significantly promoting an opportunity, a financial opportunity for farmers, and of course all our local growers and grocers. And not only that, it significantly community wins as well, because of the fact that this provides opportunities to build family and community engagement. This is also one of the reasons why we adopted Farm to School. As you all know, Chicanos por la Causa is very into the health, making sure that our children, that before they go to school, they are not only school ready, but they are ready and they are healthy to go to school. And one of the reasons why we adopted Farm to School is because as an initiative to lower childhood obesity. In this statistic, you would see this is the 5-year trend of obesity in our community. These are the numbers. As you will see, obesity is continuing and growing. From 2013, there's only 9% of all the total children of 524 that we serve here in the Yuma County, including Somerton and San Luis. Right now, we have a low at 2019. We are down, our enrollment is 482, but look at the numbers, it's 13.69. The highest number was in 2017, and that's when we adopted Farm to School, and that was at a higher number of 15%. 15% of the total 542 kids have a 95 percentile of body mass index. That means they are obese. And this is the reason why we adopted Farm to School. Because we wanted them to elevate the healthy living and healthy choices through eating fresh fruits and vegetables. We also wanted to ensure that our preschool children are not only healthy, but they are ready for school. The Farm to School goal is not only to lower childhood obesity. We want to promote buying local, inviting local grocers, farmers, growers to participate to promote local food produce, purchase, and also serving our centers and home. Education, and also the last one is a school garden, and that's why I am here today to advocate to help us sponsor this and endorse and support us to do this concert and also the premise of Farm to School goals. This is I'm going to show you a little video from the event that we did last year right here in Somerton Center. And this is the Farm to School that we did last year. Go to the next one. Did it get set? Okay, there we go. Farm to School at CPLC, our humble beginning. We started with a handful of dirt and a handful of seeds, and now we are at this point where we are on our third year, and we want to continue on because we want to make sure that the school garden that we started here in Somerton is sustainable, and we will be able to sustain it for a longer time. From our imaginary garden, the children of Somerton Center, in our center, they did provide this as their imaginary garden. This is the year that we introduced to them Farm to School and what we would like to do. And then the following year, we divided them into groups and they started planting this. This is in October of last year. By now, this is what it looks like. There was 99 children at the time in last year that planted the seeds, and this is where we are right now. Actually, we are on the second round of agricultural, as you see, the vegetables and fruits that we have, the vegetables that we have there. AEA Credit Union, Federal Credit Union gave us a $500 stipend last year, and they did again this year. And this is to support with our efforts on the Farm to School. Last year in 2017, we won the Farm Press Challenge of Arizona Department of Education CACFP Farm to School Early Child Education for program year granted in 2018. And this year, we won the same thing again at the Farm Press Challenge for the ADE CACFP Farm to School ACE program year granted 2019. Now we are on bigger and better things, and we would like to host a Farm to School benefit event to raise the funds in order for us to continue and sustain Farm to School school garden in every single one of our centers. We do have 8 centers in one center in Yuma, 2 centers in Yuma, 1 in Somerton, and 5 in San Luis. In your packet, page 55, that's where the Farm to School sponsorship opportunities are if you're interested for more details. We would like to thank you. We would like to thank the mayor and the council for hearing us today and for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Questions, comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, they're making a request. They had not made a specific dollar amount request. Staff could make a recommendation if you wish, or you could deliberate amongst yourselves.
I'd say based on the discussion we're going to have a week time, I'd see staff make a recommendation. Any comments from council?
I'm agreeable to that. Hold off and wait to see what happens.
We're going to go to item number 5. Discussion and possible action to adopt guidelines regulating financial and in-kind donations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As you know, the City Council has requested guidelines related to responding to requests for public funds and in-kind services in support of events, programs, and services. The following guidelines are based upon input from council and staff, as well as what other communities, both regionally and nationally, are doing. The goal of the guidelines is to focus limited public resources for donations or sponsorship that maximize benefit to our area, and in particular, the city of Somerton. You have the draft guidelines in your packet. I'll go through them briefly. The first is for requests for funding. The goal of these guidelines is to focus limited public resources for donations or sponsorships, as I just mentioned, that maximize benefit to our area. So organizations are limited to one request. This is all, subject to approval. Organizations are limited to one request per fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th. Requests must be submitted with a nonprofit tax ID number unique to the organization requesting funds. In other words, no piggybacking. They've got to have their own 501c3. Requests must be received at least 4 weeks prior to the event date. A request for funds, of course, does not guarantee a donation, and the city reserves the right to place any conditions it so chooses along with a donation, such as financial reporting, matching of funds, insurance requirements, and more. The city could potentially establish certain criteria to evaluate requests for funding. And it is not a requirement that all these criteria are met. So these are, again, my proposed guidelines for your consideration. These priorities for funding are as follows. Activities or services directly benefit the city of Somerton. Activities or services reach a large number of people. If requesting funds for an event, the location of the event is within the city limits. If the organization has previously received funding, the organization using the funding appropriately with successful results and has properly fulfilled any and all conditions placed upon the donation by the city. The organization has a diverse, sustainable funding base and is not relying disproportionately on city funding. The service or activity addresses a need in the community not currently being served by other organizations. And of course, at the bottom of these guidelines, a couple of points to note. All requests will be subject to availability of funds. The city reserves the right to request additional information it may need to make a funding determination. There will be no consideration given to requests supporting any political party, candidate, or cause. Requests for donations of parks, facilities, or other sports-related requests must seek approval from the Parks and Recreation Commission. And then the form continues with specific questions to verify the information and provide guidance for funding decisions. So that's the first set of guidelines. That's for cash requests, funding requests. The next set of guidelines relate to requests for in-kind donations. And so again, I start with the same kind of language. The goal of these guidelines is to focus limited public resources for in-kind support that maximize benefit to our area, particularly the city of Somerton. And then it goes into the guidelines. The city may provide in-kind services for special events within city limits. So right off the bat, we're limiting in-kind within our city limits. Events must be non-commercial and provide a demonstrated benefit to the community. Support is based on staff and resource availability as determined by the relevant department director. Events defined as Class A events will receive the highest consideration for in-kind support based upon staff and resource availability. Non-Class A events held by organizations with their own 501c3 designation will receive the next highest consideration for city departmental support. Events operating under the 501c3 of another organization will receive the next highest level of consideration, while events without any nonprofit status or affiliation will receive the lowest level of consideration for departmental support. There is no guarantee of city support for non-Class A events. City-owned equipment and supplies may be made available at no cost to Class A events and to organizations holding their own 501c3 nonprofit status based on availability. There is no guarantee of staff assistance in setup and takedown of city-owned equipment and supplies. A deposit may be required based upon the determination of the relevant department director. Equipment and supplies located at a facility would be included in facility rental. Events defined as Class A events may use the city seal in event promotions as long as the use is approved by the city manager or designee for appropriateness. Requests for in-kind services must be received at least 4 weeks prior to the event date. The city reserves the right to place any conditions it so chooses along with in-kind support, such as financial reporting, insurance requirements, and more. The city reserves the right to request additional information it may need to make a determination related to providing in-kind services. Again, there will be no consideration given to requests supporting any political party, candidate, or cause. And the form must be accompanied by a completed special events permit application. And then the form goes on to ask specific questions to verify the information that we need. So that's it in a nutshell. It's kind of a lot. We had a work session on this quite some time ago. Those comments were incorporated in these guidelines along with, as I mentioned, what other communities, both regionally and nationally, are doing. You may move to adopt these guidelines tonight, or you may make some changes, amendments as you see fit, or send me back to the drawing board. My ego is not involved in this. We can start from scratch if you like, but that's what I'm presenting tonight. I'm open, of course, to any questions you may have.
Questions, comments? Council?
Well,
Gonzalez.
it's pretty much self-explanatory, and I think for the benefit of all of us, as you as a staff and us as a council, the best way to go is to have some kind of guidance and regulations on financial, especially any kind of city funds provided to any organization. That will eliminate a lot of headaches. So that's my only wanted to share.
On the in-kind support, fourth bullet point there. We have levels of consideration. But really, I think the main point of that is there's no guarantee of city support for non-class A events because there's no definition of what level of support it is. It's very subjective. Is that the intent of that, to leave it up to department heads to determine what level of support?
Yes, sir. As drafted, that is it. Class A events, yes, they get support. Non-Class A events, of course, you see the hierarchy there to guide the department heads in their decision, but there is no guarantee. That's the way I have it outlined. It would be up to the department director based on availability of equipment and manpower.
That's what we have done.
See, and I guess that's well, thank you, Mayor Bartlett. That's been the topic of discussion. We've always said for in-kind services, any of the type of stuff, we're requiring for them to be a nonprofit organization. And now we're moving the other direction. I believe all the council was pretty much on board on them being a nonprofit organization if they're going to be doing in-kind services. What the event that we had at Paraconi Park, there was in-kind services involved. And according to the numbers that were given to our special events coordinator, they were like a couple of $1,000. I strongly feel that you need to stick to the nonprofit status, and there's got to be a limit. If it's under $200, fine, go ahead and approve it. But anything above that, it has to come before City Council for consideration. Especially if they're not even meeting the nonprofit status, because with the way it's written, anybody can request it. If I'm just showing up as a regular member of the community, I could request all these in-kind services, and I'm going to generate a profit for myself and pocket the money. And that's what we want to prohibit. We don't want to use our city resources for somebody to increase their personal wealth. And so with this, I believe that this would allow itself to be used in such manner.
We do prohibit commercial events, but you're right. As it stands in this proposal, the Class A events, of course, get the support. Nonprofits would get, consideration for the support. And you're right, anyone could come in and make a request. It's not guaranteed at this point. But yes, we could certainly lose any non-profit organization from receiving in-kind services if that's what the council wishes. Did I say that right? Any non-profit.
And this is just for the request for, and this is just for the request for in-kind support, right? Not for the city funds.
Actually, right now the request for city funds requires that you are a nonprofit.
Yeah.
This is strictly for in-kind, but still, you're going to use city staff or city equipment, And I myself can put an event together and generate a profit. You know, and I don't think that should be permitted with city funds for anybody to generate a profit like that.
And I do agree 100% with Councilman Villapando, because I mean, it's very self-explanatory. Anybody that wants some kind of a proposals for the city for some help, you know, and if they're gonna benefit out of that, whatever they're gonna do, they have to have a nonprofit status, and simple as that. And I think we have the form of Parks and Rec already very established, that anybody that, like you just mentioned a while ago. But other than that, like, you know, I hate to be seeing people coming in and asking for stuff like to benefit themselves and make money out of it, when the city is not, nor the residents are getting anything out of it. So.
Anybody else? Also on bullet point number 5, it bundles Class A events and 501(c)(3) nonprofit. And those Class A events, those are city co-sponsored events, city-sponsored events. So I think there should be a difference between, because we pretty much guarantee that we're gonna support those events with assist with breakdown, and so thinking if we can separate that those Class A events, because they're 4 or 5, whatever they've been approved by council, and then the nonprofit, then that's will provide support as available, but we can, as council, we haven't made a commitment, you know, per resolution that we have approved the other events. Should be separate.
And Mayor, so I heard that right. Class A events absolutely get that support for city-owned equipment and supplies, including setup and takedown as needed. 501(c)(3)s, nonprofits, may receive that support, but not guaranteed, as I was saying.
Anybody else with any comments, questions? Motion,
Should we give them
direction, and then bring it back?
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, yes, I've received that direction. One item I did hear was potential for a cap of the value of in-kind donation. Is that? Okay.
No.
Not if they're separated. There would be a need for a cap.
Yeah, the idea of this is be flexible, if somebody wants to do something good, but, you know, when we're using taxpayers' money, then we don't wanna be in money-making business. Well, if it's for the community, I think staff has at least a guideline. If there's anything that deviates, then there's always city council.
For me, just for the record, we had already a work session for this item. I think it's nice to put a hold on it, but let's don't hold it too long. You know, we can bring it back probably in the next meeting or so.
Yes, sir. You'll have it back October 15th.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, back to item number 4 and 6, and I'm going to recuse myself from these items, so I'm going to pass into Vice Mayor Garcia. Am I going to step down or stay here? Step down. Just because I stepped down last time.
Item number 4, ratification of the City Council's approval of Resolution 2019-019, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Somerton, Arizona, creating and eliminating certain positions within the organization.
Madam Vice Mayor, members of the council. Pursuant to ARS 38-43105, the Somerton City Council may ratify prior action taken on September 11th, 2019 to approve resolution number 2019-19, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Somerton, Arizona, creating and eliminating certain positions within the organization. On September 11th, the city council passed the resolution during a public meeting, even though the agenda for that meeting was posted outside City Hall and distributed by email to the press, community stakeholders, and staff. It was not properly posted on the city website. The City Council is therefore asked to ratify its approval of that resolution with this action tonight. State statute requires that ratification take place at a public meeting within 30 days of discovery of the violation, and that specific public notice, agenda, and written description requirements be met. Those requirements have been satisfied, and the Council is asked to ratify Resolution 2019-19.
Any comments? Do I have a motion to ratify resolution number 2019-019?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Villalpando and a second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the next item, the contract, we can bring that back, of course, after executive session.
Motion, executive session, or listen. Case, summary.
Summer.
So, we're gonna entertain a vote for executive session. I'm gonna recuse myself from item number 1, but I'm gonna be for item number 2 and 3. That's a separate.
Mr. Mayor, forgive me for interjecting. Would you care to do the summary of current events at this time, or
Yes.
let's do that later? Okay.
We'll do it, so.
I'll be brief. Our Human Resources Department has reached out to the consultant that performed Luma's recent compensation study without, of course, sharing the amount publicly in the event we go out for more quotes for a service. I will say that it would be a significant percentage of the funds originally allocated to address the compression issue. While HR still feels strongly that a study needs to be done at some point in the near future, perhaps in the next budget year, we've decided in the wake of this proposal to tackle the compression issue in-house for now, for the sake not only of cost, but also for speed. I've met with HR already this week on the issue, and we're meeting again to review salary data, including compensation histories and trends. So I'll have more for you certainly by the October 15th meeting. We're continuing discussions with J2 Engineering and Design regarding the community park to be constructed adjacent to the Somerton High School. The Parks and Rec Commission partook in a second open house recently to review the draft plan. The plan is in its final stages. I've reached out to J2 to request a draft that I can share with council in advance of an upcoming presentation on October 15th. Also, Yuma Union High School District Superintendent Gina Thompson will be at the next council meeting on October 15th to give an update on where they are with their development plans for their campus. I'm happy to report people have been using the new report to repair feature on the city website. We certainly appreciate the coverage the new feature has received in the press, as it helps to spread the word so more people can take advantage of it. There's also been other recent updates to the website, including adding access to the agendas and city notices right from the homepage, so just easier to get to. And finally, Chief Juarez may say something about this, so I'll steal your thunder, Chief, but I wanted to publicly acknowledge the hard work of our 911 emergency dispatchers. Right now, due to a shortage, we only have 4 dispatchers, including the supervisor, covering the operation. So they're doing it in 12-hour shifts. It's been going on for a couple of weeks, probably a week or 2 more until we get someone back from medical leave and get a position filled. They've been doing an outstanding job making sure the positions receive continuous coverage, and our emergency personnel out in the field are receiving the support they need. So tip of the hat to them. Chief Deanda has a personal commitment tonight, so I will send it over to Sam.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. An update on our County 15 Pathway project. As you may know, our street crew continue pouring concrete along County 15. We basically just left about 200 feet for pouring concrete between Andrea and Van Buren. That's the only segment going west, and going east. The only pending segment to pour is about 200 feet from Veranda to Somerton Avenue. So we're gonna put this project in standby because you know, we also started the annual cleanup yesterday. So we are also planning to have some contract labor in order for us to help us with that pathway and continue with the routine maintenance, the pathways, the right-of-ways, the alleys. So we are planning to hire contract labor for help us at least for between 5 to 6 weeks until we finish the cleanup. Thank you.
Invitation.
The Mayor and Council, just an update of the facade improvement program. As you know, the last council meetings had a short presentation about the program. Now we have a meeting next week on Tuesday, 6 p.m. So we contacted businesses already from Somerton Avenue to Cesar Chavez. Only the businesses that qualify for this program, you know, the commercial offices. We have 44 businesses on this segment. 25 were contacted today. Those qualified. They sign up also the visit that we did for this business. So we invite them to come over for next week on Tuesday so we can explain the program, what things they can do, the facades, and be able to explain the details of the program. So that's coming. That's something that we're looking for next week, and hopefully businesses take advantage of this. So even if, like it was mentioned last time, even if some of those businesses cannot show up to the meeting, we're going to go back and visit one more time and to explain the program in person. So next week at 6 p.m., you're all invited, also members of the community, to come and take advantage of the facade improvements on Main Street from Somerton Avenue to Cesar Chavez. Any businesses that would like to change painting their buildings, facades, windows, signage, the city is going to be able to help them. So, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are working with the 2020 general plan update. It is underway as we speak. We are working with the consulting firm that the city has hired to assist us with this project and the newly formed general plan advisory committee. We are going to have, in the very near future, we are having public meetings. This is to get the input of the residents of the city to the changes that we want to see from now and within the next 10, 20 years. This is very important. This is a project that is mandated by the state, and we are inviting all the community to come and visit with us. We want to know what the community wants, what the residents want as far as future parks, open space, employment areas, whatnot. So this is very important for the city of Somerton. The first public hearing is tentatively scheduled for November, the first week in November.
As soon as we have the exact date, we are going to start announcing it to the residents through the Facebook, the webpage, and other means of communicating with the residents. So hopefully we're going to have a good turnout at these public hearings, public meetings. Another 2020 update is the census. We are working with the Somerton Complete Count Committee. We are planning events where we are going to be reaching out to the community, explaining what the importance of the census count will be. We are planning to be at the November 9 Corn Fest. This is going to be the first event where the Somerton Complete Count Committee is going to have a census booth. This is another very important event project that comes every 10 years, and we need to ensure that every single resident in the city is counted for the benefit of the city and all the programs that are funded by federal and state money. That's all I have right now. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This is Mesa Parks and Rec Director. First of all, just wanted to inform that we're going to start overseeding JCC Field and Joe Munoz starting on Monday. So parks are going to be suspended activities, rentals for the moment. It's going to be about a week. And we're jumping on board with the work orders with iWorks. It's been a process, but our employees are putting in the time and the effort to learn the system. We're going to work into probably getting some smartphones for employees because they need them in order for them to verify their information. Right now, most of them have flip phones, so we're going to look into that to be able to meet the services and actually be effective with it. And the Senior Center, on a good note, they were present for the City of San Luis Founders Day parade on Saturday. They actually, along with PD, I appreciate the time they took to be along, work with the Senior Center, and Angelica, Vanessa helped with the decoration. They finished second place in the open category, and along with the youth council. So they're gonna be present on Friday to pick up the award during the celebration. So if anybody plans to be there, it's gonna be around 7. Also today, late registration started for the T-ball, baseball, and the softball. And it's gonna end October 11th. So anybody knows somebody that wants to play, right now is the time. It's a $50 late fee, but they can still register for the fall season 2019. And we're just getting ready for the binational. It's going to be in a few weeks. Date's going to be October 19th, and we're finalizing details for that and the Halloween event, Haunted House here hosted at Main Street. That's about it for it.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I think some of you have heard that one of our former explorers passed away last week in an accident. I just want to give you a little bit of information. The parent have asked us to allow them to bury him in his explorer uniform, and we have agreed to do that. We have also agreed to assist the family as much as we can by having our explorers up at the viewing tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, up in the Mesa mortuary. They'll be there from 5 till 9. And then on Thursday, they will have the mass here in Somerton at noon. So if anybody would like to join us, we'll be there. The family is very appreciative and very thankful that we've been there with them during this tough time. And on another note, we've hired, we're in the process of hiring one more officer. We've hired 2. Out of those 3, 2 of them will be going to the academy, so they'll be starting the following week. We have Officer Sarah Baez, Officer Mena, he's new, so I don't remember his first name, and then Officer Juan Lara. And then on October, I don't have a date, I'll send you information on a date. but we have the academy, an adult academy starting. I believe it's in 2 more weeks, so I'll give you a better date. And then pretty soon here in December, we'll be starting another major trial. Most of, or a large amount of our officers won't be involved in that one. That'll be in December. And we're continuing to make sure that our officers are meeting proficiency and continued hours. And I want to thank Ian for mentioning what he mentioned earlier. We do have 3 dispatchers that are working full-time, morning, afternoon, and night, and one of them in training. We're in the process of hiring at least 2 more, so that'll alleviate a little bit of the workload. But thank you, Ian, because I've sat in that chair and I've been behind that radio and those phones, and it's really tough and it's tiring. And I think a lot of the times we see the officers because they're out there in the uniform, but we never see the dispatchers. And the dispatchers are the first responders. Before we even get there, they've gathered all that information. Before fire gets there, they've gone through the motions of either helping somebody or providing them and helping them through probably their worst time in their life. So I'm thankful for mentioning that, and we can't forget about the people behind the scenes, which are 911 dispatchers. And on that note, thank you and have a good afternoon.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This week I have a pretty short update for you. Shutoffs took place last week, and it ran pretty smooth. Bills will be issued Thursday and sent out. The server project that ITS and I have been working on is I've received all the quotes, and we're finishing up our evaluation. That'll go to administration within the next week. ITS was able to actually identify other areas where we could cut costs, so thank you, Max. And Somerton Cares will be ready to go next Monday. A check will be issued to Waycock this week, so that program will be operational. And that is all I have for you this week. Thank you.
Councilman Villafan. Councilman Gonzalez.
I just have a couple of invitations for council, for staff, and for community members. There's going to be one event that Immaculate Heart of Mary Parish is inviting all the community to participate. It's a fundraiser. It's a family fun walk, 1 mile and 5K run that will start right in front of the Catholic Church here, the parking lot. There's a donation fee for that, and there's also another event coming up October 26th, a Summer to Strong Family Proud Bike Ride, and that's it's gonna be Saturday, October the 26th, and it's gonna be free entertainment, free breakfast, free t-shirts, and we're looking forward to see all of the council there, as well as staff and community members.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Congratulations to the chief.
Thank you. Nothing. Who's gonna?
On the phone, Mr. Castillo.
Castillo, you're in Miami.
It's pretty good.
Any updates? Any
No,
current
just
events?
now.
How's Miami?
Good.
Mojitos. I was gonna welcome Danny Ortega. He used to be the mayor of Douglas when years ago. Now he's with APS, so that hopefully we can get something done with those lines. And you can assign somebody to spearhead that effort and use me or whoever when we meet with them and see if we can. But we need to resolve that up there. See the prior rights and try to push them so we can underline those lines. I also met with Hector and Ian regarding the site and its infrastructure. So direction, not direction, but discussion was to discuss with the high school to locate the lines as we discussed in our retreat, and that's something. And Ian also had a preliminary draft on the Parks Master Plan, which, I felt that that council, although we did have public meetings, council hasn't had an opportunity to voice their opinion, so I asked Ian to possibly schedule a work session, and I'm gonna ask council to prioritize that work session. I know that work sessions lately haven't been well attended by council members, so please try, because that's a major project that we have here this next coming years. It's bonding, it's gonna be a lot of work, and don't leave it to just a couple of us to make those decisions. With that, I'm gonna recuse from item number 1 of the executive session, but is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Roldan, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Castillo, do you wanna go to the executive session, or do you wanna go to, what was that place? Copacabana, or? Up to you.
You guys want to give me the number to call, or do you want to call me?
We'll call you. Okay, take a 5-minute